Adwa TV, bringing good things to life. Adwa TV, bringing good things to life.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to today's edition of AM News on Adwa Television. We're live all across the world on TV and online from digital address GA2260733. We're also live on digital channel 37 and 38. My name is Naa Anyema Collison. Our top stories this morning: workers at the Electricity Company of Ghana are calling for their removal of their managing director. Also coming up, after 2 years of abandonance, the La General Hospital project has commenced. In Parliament this morning, the minority are calling on government to take urgent practical steps to reopen land borders. You might want to stay with us because details of these and many others coming up in a jiffy. Please be my guest. This is live on Facebook at Adwa Television Ghana. There you may want to join us with your thoughts and comments. Let's settle for the details now. Workers at the Electricity Company of Ghana say they don't want to contract extension for their managing director, Kwame Ajimanbadu, who has reportedly attained the mandatory retirement age 60. The workers, led by their divisional leadership under the Trade Union Congress, are calling for the immediate exit of the MD. According to the workers, the MD has refused to stay away and continue to parade himself as the MD and signing official documents.
Any contract extension will not help sustain the current peaceful and congenial industrial atmosphere within the company. The meeting further suggested that any new person who will be appointed in the capacity of managing director should be given specific performance targets with key performance indicators, brackets KPIs, coupled with periodic monitoring by the board and key stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the meeting unanimously reiterated the need for the appointing authority to treat the aforementioned concerns with the needed urgency and caution. The staff of the company, some of whom have worked for over 20 and 30 years, are surprised by the fast pace the company is slipping into bankruptcy and total destruction, especially under the tenure of Mr. Naa Anyema. The red flags being hoisted in all BCG operational areas are clear signs of workers' dissatisfaction, and the agitation shall continue unabated. 21, the aggregate system loss is around 30%. The resultant agitations were earlier halted as key stakeholders involved in the resolution of the impasse intimated that the managing director should be given the opportunity to address the shortcomings pointed out, as he had a short period of time to attain the compulsory retiring age. Unfortunately, nothing positive has come out of the second chance that was given to Mr. Naa Anyema. The meeting further acknowledged that Mr. Naa Anyema has finished his stewardship with ECG and think the appropriate and befitting thing to do is for him to retire honorably without inviting industrial disturbances, and that the meeting rejected any imposition of Mr. Naa Anyema on ECG.
A while longer on labor-related issues because the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu, has strongly condemned government decision to deduct 10% of their salaries of teachers and staffs of senior high school occupying government bungalows. Mr. Kabonu urged that the planned deduction is unfair to teachers, given their salaries they take from the service.
Teachers and staffs of senior high schools across the country are expected to pay 10% of their basic salaries as rent for occupying a school and government bungalows at the end of this month, March 2022. The Ghana Education Service in the Western Region served a notice to teachers to brace up for a 10% deduction from their salaries. A circular from the GES circulating on social media, signed by the Director of Education in the Western Region, Mrs. Felicia Ejebia Okain, referred to a Ministry of Finance circular dated May 15, 2006, in connection with the payment. She said teachers occupying either a school or a government bungalow are expected to pay 10% of their basic salary for enjoying the government apartment. However, the president of National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu, reacting to the circular, said, "The mistake we make here is that the accommodation condition rates are not the same and equal across the country. But when it comes to teachers specifically, we need to look at the details and understand the peculiarity of our job and look at the reasons teachers should not be charged for occupying the government bungalows. The teachers living in bungalows in the schools are performing teacher duties. It is these same teachers who take our sons and daughters to hospital, and in doing all this, they teach the full complement of their subjects in class. No teacher is employed in the Ghana Education Service to become a housemaster. They are employed to teach subjects, so the house duties they perform are for free. Why do you ask them to pay for accommodation when they are offering these services for free? He quizzed. The Ghana Education Service had explained in a letter that the said 10% deduction forms part of the government's efforts to streamline the anomalies with regard to the payment of rent for occupying schools or government bungalows. Mr. Kabonu believes the move is needless as the expected revenue from deductions will be minimal to support the government's programs. Mr. Kabonu stressed that how many teachers in the country are even in government bungalows? All the bungalows have been sold to private individuals. And how much will government gain from this? It is nothing to write home about, he said.
From teachers, let's do some health related stories because the construction of the La General Hospital has begun after 2 years of not functioning, although it was to commence immediately after the old facility was demolished. The old health facility was brought down in March 2020, I beg your pardon, due to the dilapidated nature of the structures. Minority in parliament and residents of La and its environs have criticized the government over delays in the construction of the general hospital. However, the foreman in charge of the construction project said the work has begun and will be completed within 3 years.
The reconstruction of the La General Hospital has begun after 2 years of not functioning, although it was to commence immediately after the old facility was demolished. The old health facility was brought down in March 2020 due to the dilapidated nature of the structures. The minority in parliament and residents of La and its environs have criticized the government over delays in the construction of the hospital. However, the foreman in charge of the construction project, Zakaria Ewotoma, said work has begun and will be completed within 3 years. According to Zakaria, they received the equipment 2 weeks ago and they have begun clearing the ground to make the demarcations. This is a 3-year contract, so we are working from now and the rest of the materials will be brought in later. We are now employing a lot of workers who will finish the work in 3 years' time. Meanwhile, some residents said it is too early to jubilate as they doubted the government's commitment to complete the project. The presidential advisor on health, Dr. Anthony Sansari, last week said the project would not be completed by the August 2022 deadline due to delays, but the government will make efforts to ensure they speed up the work. They cannot finish the hospital in August. The pressure will be put on them to work as quickly as possible to finish the work in record time. He said the hospital, when completed, will provide much more health services to the people of La and surrounding communities. The project is being financed by a credit facility from Standard Chartered Bank of the United Kingdom with an export credit guarantee from Sinoja of the People's Republic of China to tune in to 68 million euros with an insurance cover of 3,860,349 euros. The project will be undertaken by a Chinese company, Poly Changda. Upon completion, it will be transformed into a 160-bed facility and will be fitted with an outpatient department, inpatient ward, maternity and neonatal services, surgical unit with 4 theaters, accident and emergency department, public health department, pharmacy unit, laboratory, administration, imaging area with CT scan, X-ray room, fluoroscopy, mammography units, physiotherapy units, and a mortuary.
Let's do some other stories this morning. Following the untimely explosion at Yapieti by a mining truck which had explosives on board and safety board to probe into the matter and always pen down serious solutions which would prevent future accidents of that sort, the board has presented its report to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. The minister in charge of the sector, Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo, upon receiving the report, has said that government, above all, is keen on the quality dispensation of revenue generated from the country's natural resources.
I had initial discussions with the Chief Executive Officer of Minerals Commission, and in addition to the 14 measures that they have already taken, some of the issues we also flagged, he indicated that he's observed them, he's flagged them, and some action is already going on in those directions, including some issues that I don't want to go into details here. So I believe that as we present this report today, with the action already going on, your good self, Honorable Minister, you engage Minerals Commission and let them continue with the work that they are doing in this regard. On behalf of the committee, I want to say that we are grateful to you for giving us the opportunity to serve the country in this
Honorable Deputy Ministers, CEO of the Minerals
Commission, Chair and members of the Health and Safety Committee, which I constituted, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me begin by warmly and wholeheartedly thanking the chair and members of this committee. In fact, I'm extremely grateful, and I do so on behalf of government and the people of Ghana. And we are extremely grateful, appreciative of the work you have done. Quite clearly, listening to the chairman of the committee, some extensive work has been done on this matter, and the very synopsis is giving us indicates that this is going to be an extremely invaluable report which will guide the matters to do with health and safety of the mining sector of our country. And indeed, as I said when I inaugurated the committee, we couldn't have assembled a better team than we did, given the expertise the five of you bring to the table, expertise of diverse areas and enormous experience in your respective fields of endeavors. So once again, we are very grateful. And let me say that government is going to take the recommendations and findings of this report very seriously, and we're going to pursue them to the letter. Of course, we'll have to study the report and come up with our own conclusions or views about the contents of the report, but I have no doubt that if not all, most of the findings and recommendations which have been made by this committee will be taken on board and implemented, because after all, what we are looking for is to build here in Ghana a mining industry which is fit for purpose, which is serving the people, which is contributing to the national economy, and which is safe, so that we don't have a recurrence of what took place at Apieti. That's exactly what we are trying to forestall. And also all the other aspects of health and safety in the mining industry should be one that is of international best standards, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, let me use this opportunity to reiterate the commitment of President Akufo-Addo and his government to be utterly transparent in the management of the lands and natural resources of our country. And we do this in the context of the best standards that anybody can refer to, and also with enormous integrity. And since this incident, unfortunate incident occurred, all we have done from beginning to now has been anchored on extraordinary integrity and transparency. We do this in service of the people in our country. And so this report and all other reports have been worked on objectively, dispassionately, and by men and women of considerable integrity. And we also those of us who've been given the privilege to serve in government will approach the workings of these committees and their outcomes with extraordinary transparency and integrity. As I said when I appeared before Parliament, we have absolutely nothing to hide. Everything is above board. We're discharging our duties with
Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu Jinapor. Let's do some other stories now. The Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovations, Dr. Kweku Afari, has said that the establishment of a recycling plant and economic models established by the ministry has made a recycle viable venture into the country, in which in the long run it has helped in protecting the environment. Citing examples to back his claim, the minister, who was on the floor of Parliament to answer questions, indicated that people fight over waste to sell to recycles. He also gave his word that tin cans are now hotcakes for waste collectors because they are viable economic commodities, especially in the recycling sector.
If you go to Fojo Krum, for example, people fight over the waste so that they sell it to the recyclers. So that's not a big problem. Actually, a lot of recycling is going on. But the under 20 micron, that is why we are doing models, and we will help those private sector people to be able to pick it so that by retuning the economic model so that it makes economic sense, financial sense for them to pick up. But in the final analysis, if they do not pick it up, we will come with a system that will make it viable for public money to be invested in it so that the last dregs of plastics are collected. If you like, take my word for it, and go to the refuse dumps, you can hardly find them. Things are happening around us that we do not notice. The tin tomato cans, you can't find any place because they are hot commodity because of what is happening, and that the base metals are very expensive on the national market. When you throw away your milk tins, they collect them like, they collect them. So you can't find them even in the villages. You try it and see. So a lot of recycling is going on, even wood products. And that's what we mean by a circular economy. We are here to use policy and to use government funds to aid in that process so that Ghana can be, we already are a country in West Africa where a circular economy has taken off, but Ghanaians are largely unaware of. Thank you.
On the floor of Parliament is the Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovations, Honorable Dr. Kweku Afari. Let's do the latest in the world of business. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana has predicted that diesel may sell at over 10 Ghana cedis per litre, while petrol will cross the 9 Ghana cedi effective today, 16th March 2022. COPEC attributed the prediction of the rising cost of crude on the international market and the cedi, which is currently depreciating among 8 major trading currencies. In a statement, it said the free flow border prices of petrol and diesel has increased between the first pricing window and the second pricing window, which is from 16th to 30th March 2022. The Petroleum Consumers Ghana (COPEC) has predicted that diesel may sell at over 10 Ghana cedis per litre, while petrol will cross the 9 Ghana cedi mark from March 16, 2022. COPEC attributed its prediction on the rising cost of crude on the international market and the cedi, which is currently depreciating among major trading currencies. In a statement cited by Adwa Business News, said, and I quote, "The petroleum price indicators, as published by the National Petroleum Authority, shows that the price of gasoline, that is diesel, will increase by 30.41% from 8 Ghana cedis 22 pesos per litre in this current window to 10 Ghana cedis 721 per litre beginning 16th March 2022, and the ex-pump prices of gas, oil, petrol would increase by 18.25% from 8 Ghana cedis 22 pesos per litre, and the ex-pump prices of gas, oil, which is petrol, would increase by 18.25% from 8 Ghana cedis 22 pesos per litre to 9 Ghana cedis 722 pesos per litre within the same period. COPEC also noted that the cedi has seen a sharp depreciation against the United States dollar by 9.71% from 6 Ghana cedis 83 pesos to 7 Ghana cedis 50 pesos to a dollar. In addition, COPEC has said the export prices of liquefied petroleum gas would also increase by 23% from 9 Ghana cedis 8 pesos per kilo in the current window, will sell at 12 Ghana cedis 0.4 per kilogram in the next pricing window beginning March 16, 2022. Meanwhile, the Institute of Energy Security is also forecasting a 9% and a 5% increase in the prices of diesel and petrol respectively by the end of March. The Institute of Energy Security is also predicting that liquefied petroleum gas and petrol could go up by 3% by the end of March 2022. According to the IES, the further increase in fuel prices is due to the sharp rise in fuel prices internationally and other sharp depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi. Our consumers who have the means of purchasing food in quantities have been advised to do so because there's going to be a shortage of food in the country in the coming months. According to the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, consumers should purchase foods like maize, rice, millet, among others, and store them because the prices are going to escalate. Head of programs at the Advocacy of Peasant Farmers Association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, gave this advice. He said, and I quote, "Increase in fuel prices have increased the cost of tractor services, while prices of other inputs have also gone up, and Ghana should find a way to increase budget allocation to fertilizer subsidies. Things are hard now, but they can afford. Should they buy in stock?" This brings us to the end of today's edition of AM News on Adwa Television. Remember that we'll bring you updates of these stories and many others in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, you can also visit our website www.adwanewsonline.com for more news. From me and the rest of the team, you see us again very soon. My name is Naa Anyema Collison. Please, as always, stay safe. Good morning.